Hello and welcome to Roll to One. My name is Jaden. I'm here with Zane. I'm here with Ross. I'm here with Jackson. I'm here with Andy. And we have just completed a wonderful campaign. We completed it last week. It was fun. And now we're going to talk about it for the next hour, probably. So without further ado, let's get ready for tonight's Orbit 21 retrospective. Very exciting stuff. All right. That was it. It was awesome. It was a big, it was a big last thing. I'm going to play this music instead.
Yeah.
Mystical.
Some ambience.
I like it.
I have some questions that have been written down, and we are going to just so you know I'm not making them all up on the spot. And I will. And we may go off the tangent. We may go off the beaten path.
Well, of course we will. We're us.
But you know, even if you are just going to put this on in the background after liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss another episode, you even if you're just going to do that,
but
we're going to have a good time detoxing.
There are no more episodes.
Well, I just mean like...
There's more episodes of other stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
There are other things.
There are.
Maybe they're skipping ahead and spoiling the whole show for themselves.
Maybe they are.
You know?
Oh, they're
You're just
like,
doing
oh,
yourself
I'm
a
going to watch the
disservice.
retrospective.
Yeah.
It's like, what do the players think of this?
You're going to learn nothing.
What kind of person is that?
Huh?
What kind of person is that?
Well, maybe it's someone who's like, I don't want to commit, but I'll see what was the vibe.
There
and
are
then they
people
don't care
who
about
do,
spoilers.
There are people who watch the first episode of a playlist and the last episode of a playlist.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There's
Why?
people like myself. I don't waste my time, okay? I want to be just enough in the know to talk about it, but not enough to actually care. All right.
Yeah, that's fair.
So speaking of not really caring, what was your first impression when you heard that we were going to do a Sci-Fi Dungeons & Dragons game?
Well, I mean, this whole campaign kind of originally came off with the idea of the one-shot that we did a few years ago, and as that was my first experience with Dungeons & Dragons ever, I was excited just to kind of see where the story was going to go, and just excited for my first full D&D style campaign.
That was your first time playing D&D at all, wasn't it?
Yes, the original.
The original Orbit.
Yeah, original Orbit, and
Yeah.
then
Which this is kind of a continuation of.
Yeah,
For Ross.
It's 100% a retcon.
For
Yes.
Ross.
I see.
yeah.
Sort of.
so I was excited, and yeah, I thought it was a great campaign.
I mean, yeah, because what made you want to do like a full show out? Because I remember you wanted to do something sci-fi.
I remember this. It was that thing that D&D came out with that you had high hopes for.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
didn't quite...
He's going to get the book.
Yeah, he's got the book. It didn't quite...
He didn't grab the book.
It didn't hit like he thought he was going. No, because you haven't seen it.
Yeah, because we never used it.
We never used it.
Fair.
Instead, we
not
used
good.
something else. Dark matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we ended up using. That's where we got a lot of our stuff.
Spelljammer.
That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's just get this out of the way. get the dislikes out of the way. Don't buy this garbage.
Wow. Wow.
It's not Spelljammer. Go back in time and play 3.5 or earlier, depending on when you discover Spelljammer, and play that, not this garbage. This, I'm just going to pull out like the adventurer's guide, we'll say, right? So this is basically like subclasses and information about the lore. It's my fingernail, basically. This is like $35 to $40.
Uh-huh.
This is $50.
And that's the Dark Matter book, and it's like
I'll get there.
4 times as thick.
Don't buy this garbage. Buy this.
3 times.
I'm not sponsored by Mage Hand Press, but the creator of it was at Gen Con. He's a bald man
Just called him out.
with glasses. He's a good guy. I liked him. I'm just describing if you see him. And he convinced me that I needed this book. He was never more wrong. But
There goes any sponsorships.
hold on.
Hit the dislike button if you're the owner, the author.
Did I need it? No. Did it prove to be very fun as the basis for this entire world / campaign and I would never go back? Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
You gotta leave me some space, bro.
No. You get, we'll cut
ribbing
it.
you.
People will cut it the way they want it to
I
for
know.
the shorts.
I know. But anyway, so that's sort of my 2 cents. That's why, because I was like, I want to use this book, and I'll probably never run anything other than fantasy again. What do I do? Ta-da.
Yeah. And now if we ever want to revisit this or have something similar, now we have good stuff to base new additional campaigns off of.
Right,
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
This was the basis for a
And
while.
you could play a space marine from outer space and Curse of Strahd. It's been done.
Yeah. I thought that was
He
fun.
wasn't technically a space marine.
No, his name was Space Marine,
Oh,
wasn't it?
I thought you were on Hammer.
Oh, no, like the original D&D.
Sort of was.
No. What were you asking?
Well, like, because you ended up writing, like, an entire lore Bible for the Orbit 21 setting.
Yep, I did.
Which
That was a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of Innergap figuring out.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
this
that
was a
was- that was a
dialogue.
whole
We had
thing.
talked about, like, what the most,
The concept.
the concept of instantaneous travel, what would actually be required.
ramifications.
We talked about,
implications.
like, quantum mechanics and, like, the act of what would cause instantaneous travel. It would require you to go to, like, you'd have to be really, really small.
Yeah, and if you have this situation, then what does that mean? How does society develop around it? And
hence why
Stuff like
it
that.
made sense to do, skyscraper-sized tears in reality, because that made more sense to me than, Star Wars warp drives.
Yeah.
Well, it ended up, because the Innergap, for me, felt very reminiscent of the warp from, like, Warhammer. Like, as far as, like,
Yeah.
hyperspace dimensions go.
It
from
definitely,
sci-fi.
it was actually more heavily inspired by, like, SG-1.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
that's
if you
cool.
think about how their technology works, is that they had these, like, gates that needed to be encoded, right? Stargates.
Yeah.
And then once you typed in both of those things, they would communicate and they would open simultaneously,
Oh,
allowing
yeah,
you
that
to
makes
travel
sense.
through them. And then time was wobbly depending.
That's the thing that I feel like you came up that was, like, special to Orbit. Was the, how, like, everything freezes. And, like, there's no, I don't know, there's, like, no physics time.
I feel like we didn't play with that a ton.
No.
Not-
It's a tough thing to
It
play
is.
with, improv play with on the
Right,
fly
and we
without
can't-
breaking the rules.
we can't understand the lack of time. That's just not within our
Yeah.
understanding.
I definitely think it'd be
Ability.
fun to play a character who has aged like 75 years, but has been an Innergap, like, ship person. Like, imagine if that person was like he's like his either depending on how we determine the rules to be physically very aged or like mentally like
Aged.
very old. You whippersnapper when he's like 24. Like, wow.
Well, and I wonder, like, would he age like an elf where his mind continues to develop?
No, he'd be missing stuff.
Or, like, because, like, would his neurons form new pathways?
He'd start writing over probably stuff,
You know,
and not remember his childhood type scenario. Anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, all these ramifications and rules and the Innergap. And then I wasn't sure we were going to do aliens. Initially, it wasn't designed for aliens, but then Andy's like, I'm going to be a superhero. How do we do that? And I was like, for sure has to be aliens.
It's in the book.
Yes,
in
it
the
is.
book.
It's the radioactive sorcerer.
I think it was Rad Freak or
Yeah.
subclass of sorcerer.
Yes, in this book, it said, I just said, sure, pick
So
anything.
if you're looking for how did Andy do radiant damage all the time, that's how.
Yeah,
Hard
how
light
did-
needle.
How did you break the game?
I also tried to look for the spells that would fit within the theme.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, if you're gonna play Curse of Strahd, shout out to Crow's Curtain Call, and your dungeon master's letting you play whatever, play that, because everything you do is radiant damage.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That'd be crazy. I mean, not quite as crazy as Twilight Cleric, but it'd be crazy.
I mean, that's basically what Twilight Cleric was doing.
That is true.
Moonbeam, but instead of Moonbeam, it's do you believe in me?
That was a fun spell. I grabbed a lot of spells, as much as I could from, like, what was that? What's that called? We used other books.
I like Kobold Press as well, and they use Deep Magic.
Deep Magic, that's what
Okay.
it was.
And I know
We're gonna
my
use Deep Magic too. Doesn't matter.
Jove Thor's character in class came from Valda's Spire of Everything, right?
Valda's Spire of Secrets,
Oh yeah, that's it.
also by Mage Hand Press.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just like the third party stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
So that's your first impression of the concept of Orbit. Did you have a first impression over there, Quiet Man?
Yeah,
This is your first campaign total, right?
it was.
Yeah.
I don't
This
think.
before Ragtag?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think
This was
I don't think I knew you
Ross.
guys yet. 3 or 4 months before you pitched me joining you guys on this.
Is that really how long
case.
ago that was?
Yeah, it's been like 2 years,
Yeah,
dude.
I think I think that timeline.
Because we played like
Makes
40 something
sense.
episodes of this.
I mean, because we started this in October of 23, I think. Right?
That sounds right.
Something like
September
that.
or October.
I can
Yeah.
look when the first one was uploaded,
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
A
No.
lot has happened in that time.
For life to be measured in gray hairs, but instead of that, it's episodes.
but it's episodes of Orbit.
But no.
I mean, two of us have gotten married in that time.
Yeah. My first impression was just
Ross
like.
and I are together.
My first impression was like, it's like I've heard people playing D&D. I don't know if that's my thing. And then you're like, hey, it's gonna be sci-fi. I was like, yeah, I'll play sci-fi. Yeah, I know that. And I had a blast. I enjoyed it.
I was re-listening to a couple of the first episodes.
Oh yeah, you can't hear me at all.
Well, you can't hear. It's hard to hear you, but
Yeah.
but it got better real quick. But like I noticed there was a point where you didn't quite get how the rules of D&D worked. So you're trying to role play, and it would have worked well like in Dungeon World.
Mm-hmm.
But like it seems like there was a point where I could tell you were just like, screw it, I'm a murder hobo.
You're like, you're just, and I think I even looked at you and I was like, yeah, you killed those people. Yeah. Oh no, I'm gonna take the spark. Okay.
I feel like I've seen that same thing with Zane in different other campaigns. Where he's just like, I want to do something cool. And you're like, the rules don't allow you to do something cool. He's like, I'm going to try it anyway.
Yeah.
And
He's like,
failed.
you are allowed to try.
You can certainly try.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game for sure stretched me because it's not like there's a sense of wonder that fantasy allows for because of like mystique and mystery, but sci-fi, at least on the surface, everything has to be plausible or at least explainable.
Yeah,
Within the
fantastical.
world.
No.
Fantastical, but
No, but like if I
Says
said
the Star Wars
if I
fan.
if
No,
I
was
said a
just
bunch of
thinking the character's
aliens
Mystique and Mystery.
mystery.
As in the X-Men character and the seahorse from SpongeBob. Mystique and Mystery.
Okay. I'm not sure I understand.
Just a shout out.
The point I was trying to make was was just that like if I said, oh yeah, scientifically altered people became mutant people, you guys are like, yeah, I buy into that.
Yeah.
But if I was like, mystical wizard man opens time portal, you guys are like, but like
In
if I was
sci-fi?
like, but
Yeah.
if I was like,
sci-fi.
press button, quantum mechanics equal time portal, you'd be like, yeah.
yeah.
That's enough buzzwords. I get it. I jive with it.
Right.
It's all about perspective.
And so it's anyway. Like I
yeah.
said, it stretched me because I was like just doing fantasy tropes, but I was like, we're gonna make them sci-fi. I'm like, we're gonna do dinosaur jungle. How do we do this? Like,
Dude.
and we did.
Yeah.
That's
How is that not a sci-fi trope?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I think is Jurassic Park sci-fi?
That's a
I
great
would say so.
question.
Yes, I would
I'd
say
say
that it's
yes.
science fiction.
Jurassic Park
Is
is
it-
science fiction.
Is it
I'd say it's
considered
low.
sci-fi or
Low,
action?
It's
but-
very low sci-fi.
low, but I think it's in the category.
Low sci-fi?
For the time that it was made,
I'm
yes.
printing dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That's
it's still low.
I'd still low dice. Low
It's
sci-fi.
not like thousands of years in the future. It's like 20.
I like the implication though that on Jove Thor's home planet, those dinosaurs organically grew to be dinosaurs again. Like they genetically made them. They didn't like mosquito their way into that. They were like, nope, lizard became dinosaur again. You're welcome. Because the oxygen, like
Right.
all of the explanations of the dense rainforest, the trees being as tall as they were.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mechanics in that.
Okay, so I had a thought earlier, and am I the only one who felt like this was kind of a road trip story?
It was kind of
I can see
Hitchhiker's
that.
Guide across our little solar system.
Yeah.
It felt like a road trip.
We got
because there
our
was
Winnebago.
all these different like environments that
like
we
we knew from episode 20 something we needed to make the Pluto. It was just a matter of getting there.
First step was get the Winnebago.
Yeah.
right. We did.
Make
Yep.
a left at
It's
exit.
a pretty sweet
exit
Winnebago.
890.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we never actually named the ship.
We never upgraded it
We
either.
never did.
We never.
I think we only ever called it
No,
the
I
banana
realized how
ship.
stupid
Banana
ship
hammock.
combat was, and we just never did it again.
No, it could have been good.
It was a fun experience.
Yeah,
Experiment.
Yeah, it was our first time doing it, and
Not
I
in
think-
this book. It's great. I
Right.
just didn't read the rules, and I didn't.
right.
Yeah. I mean, like I feel like I don't know.
I'm kidding, but no, it was neat. It was a road trip story. I think you're right in the sense that like we were starting somewhere. We were always going somewhere else. Like that was the goal. It was always get to here, get to here, get to here, and the plot was
fair.
built around that.
Well, and
Yeah.
it never felt like I don't know. We never overstayed at a location that way.
Well, we were also on the run from the police.
You guys were always messing up locations too. Which
We were fugitives. I mean, there was that
There's
too.
kind of a reason for that, but yeah.
every location you went to, you could not overstay your welcome because you either created black holes or you like
We blew it up.
or
Yeah.
you were like no more electricity for all of Earth.
Or you're in prison.
All of Earth.
Don't
It
forget
was only
that.
temporary.
You went to jail temporarily as well.
It wasn't electricity, it was the internet.
Yes.
No, I think it was electricity too, because we
part of it. You guys
Yeah.
like citywide, which I guess the whole planet was like Coruscant at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway. So why did you play your character that you chose?
At the time, I was getting really big into Halo Infinite and Battlefront 2, so I was trying to do like a mix of Master Chief and Boba Fett, and I completely forgot to lean into Boba Fett.
Just did Master. Oh,
It's fine. It's fine.
Master Chief, he had like a handful of screws loose.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Andy.
Large handful.
Andy, why superhero? Why sad superhero? You're like Wolverine, but
No.
Or Spider-Man.
First, we came up with the name after coming up with what character this is, because I'm terrible at names. So we started.
well, that's why he was
Generating
Kane,
that name.
that's why he was Kane Carson, right? Because like superhero alliteration.
I don't know about superhero alliteration, but I thought the name was good.
Like
Yeah.
Stan Lee does like Peter Parker and Reed Richards. And
Bruce Banner, Wade Wilson,
yep.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil.
Kane Carson, like it kind of.
Professor Xavier.
PX.
Pretty sure
What?
the mutants were. Was it Stan Lee? I don't know. He gets all the credit when
Yeah, he
Jack
does.
Kirby and like some other guys exist.
I'm
does
just,
do that.
I'm just. But yeah, why Kane?
Well, I've thought about this, and I think partially it's if I'm playing a regular guy in D&D, I don't know why I'm there.
Okay. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it's just, okay, why this? Okay, you must have had problem Innergap. What does that mean? Okay, that means you have horrible trauma. Let's figure out how to play that. And,
He definitely had trauma.
yep. I don't know if I did a great job of it, but
No,
took a shot.
it was evident that your character had some sort of a traumatic.
I took a
past.
shot.
Take a shot for every traumatic moment you had in the campaign. We'd all
No.
be drunk.
We'd take a shot for how many times Joe Thor died in the campaign. We'd be trying.
I would be
Almost,
drunk.
almost died.
Once.
True.
He died a whole one time.
I almost died multiple
Knocked
times.
unconscious.
Oh yeah, I think we need to save you for last because you
Oh,
did die.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so why Scott?
Well, I just played Duncan.
Correct.
That was my experience.
You basically played yourself with a red beard.
Well, yeah, and I played. Well,
And
I
a
played.
hat.
I played like what a lot
a
of
hat.
people do. Yes, a very cool hat.
Yeah.
And it was
I'm
just
giving
like
you a hard time. He grew as a character.
It was
Magical eye.
like an idealistic, heroic character, right? And I kind of wanted to, and he was like a tank. So I kind of wanted to do something that was just not just straight opposite, but a little different. And so I thought like a neutral, like a really neutral character that's. I tried to make him a glass cannon. He ended up being a plaster cannon. He wasn't quite glass, but
Yeah, it was hard to hit.
yeah. So, but I don't know.
He was very alien in the sense that he did not
Classical
have a
hard to hit.
humanoid way of acting. You always followed the logical path, which allowed you to stay on the campaign,
Yeah.
but you were never like, this is the morally right choice. This is why we're doing it. Like it was always just, this is what logically we should be doing, which
Yeah.
is which is a different way of playing.
Some moral ambiguity.
And then he ended up being like slightly evil, which is good.
See, I thought Duncan would have been fine that way. That's what I'm saying.
He had a stint.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah, you know what your character needed? The gauntlets of ogre kind. Oh man, no, it was good. I think you did good. Infiltrator robot, you infiltrated. You did robot things. You pretty much did what you set out to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that you did a good job of kind of embodying what it meant to slowly be gaining your humanity through Scott.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
I think when you said earlier, we were talking off camera, you were like, I don't know, like, I wish I had pre-planned my arc better. And I'm like, I kind of think that you nailed it.
Yeah.
And that if you had actually planned how you were going to become human, it would have happened in a weird, inorganic way.
real boy.
But you kind of did it. Like, you kind of did. Like, everybody else had their arcs. Yours was centered to the campaign. And naturally, by the end, we're comparing you to Al. A lot is different. Like,
Yeah.
Scott is he's a person compared to Al at that point.
Yeah. Well, and I agree with that. I think maybe I was more in the mindset of like, I wish my role play had reflected the arc.
I see.
Yeah, in case
more
anyone didn't know,
intentionally.
we had like weeks in between playing here, so it was hard to remember sometimes
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
where your character was mentally. That's for some of us.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. And last, why did you play a monkey wrench?
Great question.
It's a grease monkey.
I knew.
Yes.
I knew I didn't want to play a character that had like a bunch of spells and stuff, just because I was still learning the game. I didn't
Yeah.
want the complexity of having a spellcaster or anything like that. And
It's okay. You learned a bunch of mechanics that you never used. So
right, you know what? It's fine. There was,
It's tough for
Yeah.
those kind of characters.
different
So,
campaign,
yes.
you'd have crafted a lot more.
yes. Yeah. I wanted a type of character that was intelligence based and was complex, but not like infinite possibilities.
And instead, you had a character that was intelligence only.
Yeah, dude, your charisma was ass.
It was no.
Coming off of the tales of Harry Henderson and then playing this, very different character.
Very different characters.
Well, and I've kind of mirrored that with you and then Jeeve. I mean, it's I get it.
Let's see. My charisma was not my lowest score. That was strength, because my strength was a 6.
Thanks is a dump stat. It's fine.
Right. And if you're min-maxing, yeah. But no, it was a fun character, and I tried a variety of different things to make him be more of a individual person.
Hell, he
Or
was the heart
monkey.
of the party.
Yeah.
He was probably the most mentally normal person in the party.
Yeah, probably.
Which I think also you're the only.
What do you mean by that?
You're also like the only
memory.
backstory that is like you're the only like emotional investment in your backstory. Like Scott,
Yeah, that's
his
fair.
backstory was embedded in the campaign,
Right.
Yeah.
but like your backstory was
I left home.
there was a moment. There was that we got to explore that. We got to see your home. We got to see that. Nobody else got to go home, and that
Hey.
was kind of a thing.
It's true.
We went to Earth.
Yeah, but not in the way that was like. Yeah, we met.
I mean, not the same way.
We met
but
your moment of improv when you were like, "Yeah, my friend sells drugs," and I was like, "I guess he sells drugs." But anyway,
Fair.
so we got to meet your family, which was fun. We got to learn about the sign language that monkeys use.
That was
I love
Really
because
cool.
you came up with that on the spot, essentially, right?
Sure did.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was fun. It was a good flavor that helped make Nimbus unique and like someplace that could actually exist.
Evolved and devolved,
Right.
as a caste system.
Loved it.
I just love that you had the guts to kill him off at the end. I thought that was, from a story perspective.
I mean, he just died.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know he did.
So Jax and I were
4
talking about
chances.
this
Yeah.
off screen. We did not use a single bit of the Mutaki, the drug that we
Yeah.
got.
Oh,
If
no.
I had injected myself with that right before, I would have survived.
Oh my gosh,
no.
you're right.
Correct. And I even warned you guys several times that the wave was coming.
Yeah, no, I know. I think it was appropriate for one of us to die. I'm sorry it was Joe Thor, but I'm not surprised.
But yeah, what was it? It gives you a point of exhaustion, but you can just like be invulnerable for a round.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
invulnerable for 6 seconds. I think you get 20 in dexterity and strength.
I figured that Kane was going to die.
I mean,
Because
he
mainly
died?
I thought, all right, planet's fallen into another planet. We probably don't have the other power source anymore. I figured Kane was going to have to be the power source to get you back to.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
He was going to have to stand there.
If you would have speculated that out loud, I would have done it.
I sorted it. I was like, "So is the other power source okay?" And you're like, "Sure." And I was like, "Okay."
I was listening.
Say, that's proof that we do not plan too much outside of.
Not
I play in the
too
next
much.
session. That's
Yeah.
what most people do, and that's what I did. I've learned a lot. Nomenclad's going to be very different. What's Nomenclad? Anyway.
What was the point where you went from, okay, I'm not meticulous. I'm not going to try to play it more than an episode ahead.
Episode 3.
Let's see what happened in episode 3.
You really want to know?
Was that jail?
No. I
Yeah.
think that's
Was
when
it?
we get to Mars
Yep.
because we're going from
Oh,
That makes sense.
We're going from
That's right.
Nimbus.
Mars was the first stop.
Oh yeah, we're going from
Yeah,
Nimbus to
when-
Mars.
When frickin' Zane... Yes, their day ended at the Somnorium, where Scott surreptitiously manipulated a dream pod. His tampering led a user to commit a crime. The murder of the cryptic Rupert Hayes.
And
Where Scott just ripped a name out of nowhere.
Who the hell is Rupert Hayes? And then all of a sudden, the plot was just, who is Rupert Hayes? So I was like, episode 4, and then, episode 4 and on, I was just like,
Yep.
playing nothing.
So, how many storylines did you have planned that we just completely did not bite at or abandoned?
Surely there was one with the transport company. We barely touched.
Yep, I worked for a logistics company at the time, and so I thought, man, that's fun. Let's just talk about trucking. No, not fun.
Could have been fun.
But my most, like, I know I said that would be fun, but I actually desired to go down the pathway of, like, the weird experimented people, like the teleportation and
I
like
thought that would be
the
more
kid.
of a
Yeah, we
plot
never came
point,
back
too.
to some of them.
I thought it would be more of a plot point too, but then we kind of got, if you were writing it as a TV show, if you were looking back and you were going
Right.
to make it the thing, that like appears and it's like a small little moment and they get through it and then he's the villain in season 2.
That
right?
makes
like,
sense.
Like
yeah.
that's kind of the way that it felt.
Which was
Especially
the,
with Kane's disappearance.
Which was the Nimbus set.
And in the last episode, that was something Ross and I were like looking back on. It's like, how are we getting home? And he wrote it on a piece of paper. He's like, oh, it's going to be the kid. And it's like, oh, that makes sense. And then it wasn't.
I was just listening to that, and Ross was like, "I like my idea better."
I truly,
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
liked how
that-
we did it,
I think
too.
it's
Yeah.
season 2. Like that's ultimately why I think I left it aside. I'm like, ooh, this is too good. It needs its own spin-off.
Yeah.
I'm done
They're
with
still
that.
there.
Well, and I think I said it at the time, like that. It felt like we did it on purpose. The setup with the Cortana
Oh, yeah.
chick,
Mhm. Yeah, with
Totally
with,
wasn't begging
with
from that
memory
from the
getting
and
her
her being
like,
like the
being a robot.
the key to us surviving
That's
at the
true.
end.
If you want to go back there, you have a whole thing now where it's like, okay, there aren't aliens anymore, but now you have this growing number of
Mutant
people.
population.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have all these people
That
that are
whole
affected
thing.
by that. You have, yeah, I think I'm trying to remember like
We didn't have to shut down the Innergap.
No, we didn't. So we have not ruined the solar system's
We've just
trade.
we've
Nope.
just changed
Economy.
the solar system. That's it.
There's no Pluto anymore.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I mean, was Pluto really important to begin with?
Well, they
it's
didn't
not
think
a
it's a
planet.
planet, so we just got
Neil,
rid of it.
According to Neil deGrasse Tyson, no.
yeah. So I think that there was the things that really didn't get resolved were most of like
Tobin Kell.
Tobin Kell.
Another
well, it looks
season
like-
2 villain.
that
I was gonna say that looks like
definitely
that's gonna be
spoiled.
set up for the next season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was like if I look at my
He set up a
city
Scott
here.
versus Tobin.
we didn't really explore the Somnorium stuff, like the technological side of all of that.
Yeah.
I had that potentially as a playground if you guys wanted to do like I was going to do like a Tron episode where like
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
was in a video game
Oh,
type
yeah.
of
Wow, that'd
thing.
be
That was an idea I had. The Vanguard Armory, you guys just ended up not doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
we
to
had to
flee.
leave.
Because I
Yeah.
had set up the Vanguard Armory to be like
That was
an
your
obstacle
thing.
course
It
to
was.
show off
It was-
him, and then once I could show off him, I was going to start introducing like military threats. That's why he kind of got thrown to the wayside.
Yeah, that was your
because
thing.
nobody
Yeah.
went to Vanguard
And the
Armory.
reason we didn't
yeah.
go there was because of you.
Well, and that's the thing is like that. That was the one thing that we didn't do because we tried to steal the solar flare.
I don't know if I
And we had to leave after we broke out of
Yeah,
prison.
because it was Red Plains Tech Hub, Vanguard Armory, Mars Radiological Institute, and then Solara Medical Center. Those were like my 4 major locations on
Yeah.
Mars.
Yep.
And Solara ended up being a great arc.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
I remember
fun, like-
we had the whole map build for Vanguard.
Mhm.
We were ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yep.
gauntlet and all that,
and then
and
never
And we never did it.
did it at all.
Yeah.
So that's like the one, or like that's the one. Those are like the
Jax
two.
was like, let's go to this
things
one place first.
We just never did.
Just real quick.
Real quick.
Yeah, that would have
Quick
been
in and out.
It's like you're in prison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Figure
would
that out.
that would have been fun. That one, that
And
was
also
good.
Rupert Hayes.
I also had a lot more Leo Cray than I had initially. Like, I was gonna have Leo have this whole like need your help for a heist, and like it was gonna be this whole thing. But then I was like, we've already gotten past the need for this Gandalf character to lead them into becoming a unit, and like I was like, no, he just knows nothing.
yeah,
Like it's kind of silly because he really was supposed to be like Gandalf. Like he was supposed to be
Yeah.
like, all right, come on, fellowship, like let's go do this thing now. And you guys look to him, and I was like, all of my notes are there. He knows nothing.
he's really smart about making AI.
So we
That's
were
all
correct
he
in being
knows.
like,
Yeah.
all right, tell us the answers.
Yeah,
I know you know them.
but like
He's like, I'm a mechanic, bro.
He's like, I'm going to choose
like-
not to tell you.
It's like, hey man, I just work here. I don't.
you were already well on
Sorta.
your way. You knew where you needed to go. I'm like, anything I do here is gonna feel like we're just halting the story.
Oh, it felt like a good twist. And
Yeah.
it did force us to kind of
It's a kind of
be
thing.
proactive.
Yeah.
That's another thing I noticed
Scramble.
too, is that we struggled a lot in the beginning episodes, at least in my opinion, with like making a decision.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time like talking about what we should do.
Yeah.
And then we finally got to the point where we're like, all right, we're just impulsive. We're going to do this.
Yeah,
I think part of that
I like
was
how the part where,
go ahead.
in that exact what you're talking about, Ross at one point was like, oh, so what I want to do, it's domestic terrorism. But when you want to do it, it's a good idea.
Well, I think part of our indecision was just we had two essentially new two new players at the table. Like
Yeah.
Jackson and I, we'd never played before, so it was like, oh, how do we deal with this? And we matured as players and as people, and by the end, we were blowing up planets.
Yeah. Well, like you said
made along the way.
in one of our episodes, it was either this, it may have been Ragtag, but you're like, when we first met Jackson, he had like 1 or 2, maybe 3 dice sets, and you panned over to my dice cam just to see the mountain of dice
Dude.
sitting in it.
You have a problem.
A little bit of a dice goblin over there.
Not as bad as Joey.
Joey's
it's
got
not a
quite the
problem.
collection.
You can't cover
Okay,
yourself.
that
Jaden.
doesn't count. You got that. You got that at a good. Didn't you get that at Goodwill?
nope.
No, I thought you did.
It says bag of tricks.
I know.
You got that at Gen Con, right?
Nope.
Where'd you get it?
In those stores where like homeschooled moms buy like
Flea markets?
books for their kids, and they buy like butterfly catching sets
Yeah.
and little like
Oh.
it's like
a
a
kid's toy
Books
store?
a Million kind of thing?
no, it's genuinely it's like a nature, like you can buy like microscopes, and like it's just like a weird generic, like it's
Home
bizarre.
Goods?
No, you can I promise this is a once in a location type store.
Huh.
You'll find it.
It's a location.
You got it. And it's near where I live. I'll point it. We'll go there at some point. You guys will be like, oh,
I'm thinking of the
this
gift
is
shop.
not that special. I'll be like, I know.
I'm thinking of the gift shop at like the Indiana History Museum.
It's really kind of. It's just like a weird like little nature emporium. Like it's bizarre that this place exists, but they just had this bag of dice, and I was like, it's like $11.
That was
It's pretty
$11.
cool.
Yeah. So I
totally
grabbed
worth
it,
it.
and
Yeah,
bag of tricks is a
$11,
magic item in D&D. So like I was like a.
Oh,
It's kind of a match made in heaven for me. Yeah. All those animals.
You can find
on
the great
there are
bag
like
of tricks in Strahd.
all of those animals are in that. Like
it's
that's
a
what it
different-
is.
Different bag of tricks, but
Okay.
still.
Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, but dice, good job.
Yeah.
What?
What was your
that was the moral of the story?
No,
No, we're weaving
Was
back in. to
Dice, good job.
the
yeah?
thread.
What was your favorite location that we visited in the game?
Ooh, that's interesting.
I mean, we kind of touched on this earlier. Nimbus for me. I
Nimbus.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
I just
Nimbus
thought it was
pretty cool.
It was the most unique, having the city above the forest and just kind of how
It's above the gas giant.
which is above the gas giant, and
A lot of layers to that planet.
yes, and just going down, being above it all, walking on the monorail lines, and then
Above it all.
and then climbing up to the different locations, and then
I mean, we can go through them if we want. I mean, we didn't
Yeah.
go that many places. We did Mars,
uh-huh.
and there's all the 4 locations that came with Mars.
Yep. Earth.
Earth, which with Earth was like a cyberpunk experience. So
Yeah.
you got to kind of go down that line. We did
Pluto.
And,
Pluto, but the asteroid belt with
Black Rock.
Black
Yeah.
Rock,
Yeah.
which Black Rock was fun.
Yeah, I
That was
enjoyed
a fun
that.
one.
yeah,
I think that may have been my favorite. It was the Black Rock.
I think that's when things kicked off for me as a player.
Oh yeah.
Black Rat when I was just like, all right, we're doing stuff.
Well,
just
I think-
1v1.
well, just because it felt like an impulsive like side quest that just
Sure was.
that like just ballooned into this big plot point.
And I think that's when that sparked that I had finally lit the fire, because I was like, I finally got to do something that I asked to do. So
Was
Yeah.
it kill all those people?
it was.
yeah, that's when we found out your character was a psychopath.
Hey, you know what? They were gonna follow us.
At
I
the-
did us a favor.
I mean,
We got to the point where by the end, Rupert Hayes was executing men and throwing them out of the ship to reduce the weight, and you looked to him and said, "You're a good man, Rupert Hayes."
in all fairness, he was doing that so we could get on board.
I mean, is there ever a D&D game that doesn't include at least one war crime?
We also went to Neptune. Neptune, right?
Yeah.
And then we went to Pluto. Neptune was the one where you got to like see or it was one of the moons of
We go
Neptune.
to Neptune twice.
One of the moons of Neptune is where I believe you actually you started the game coming away from Europa,
True.
Yes, that's correct.
which is Jupiter's moon.
Then we went back, when we were going to Nimbus, we jumped over to
Like an airport.
Neptune, I think, or the Innergap at Neptune.
No, I thought we went straight from Nimbus
we went to the
Earth.
No, from Nimbus we went to the moon.
Because from Mars, we didn't go through the Innergap.
I think. Remember, we went to the airport.
Right.
From
I don't know if
Nimbus.
that
Oh,
was
yeah,
on
yeah,
Europa
yeah, yeah.
or if that
Yeah,
was.
That was one of the moons.
But
then we
that
went-
was a moon, because we were trying to talk with Al and we needed to go to Build-A-Bot.
You also went to the moon.
But isn't that where,
Yes.
where we
And
went
the
back
moon.
to? Isn't that where we went back to when we were trying to get to Pluto? To Pluto?
I think we went to Earth from there.
No, we went from Earth
Yes.
to
Both.
Neptune, and then from Neptune to Pluto. Right?
I think it was.
Yeah, because
it
the
was,
truck we were on
yes.
was going to Neptune.
That's correct. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So we saw it before and after.
Yeah. Yes. Your particular location was indeed well developed in terms of people to talk to, in terms of things to do. A lot of the other ones were very much just like sci-fi places to go.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Or
that,
just like an airport.
that's fun. I did actually have an entire underwater side quest prepared
Yeah,
I remember
for
you
one of the
mentioning
planets,
that.
but it's
Wasn't
one of
it
those
Neptune,
things.
right?
Yeah, I was gonna do underwater Neptune stuff.
Yeah.
I think
Underwater City.
being okay. Lesson of this campaign for me is plan everything and expect nothing.
Yeah.
because you have like I had so many ideas and so many things I wanted to do and then just not enough time.
Yeah, that's kind of funny how that worked. We were like, you're like, we have a whole underwater city, and we're like, we have no time.
You're like we are gonna go over here.
And then there was the other case where you're like, we got to get there fast. You're like, what about the hospital? Why don't we spend a whole 3 episodes there?
We did. Yeah, we did go there. You guys did well at that. In that one, that was a fun thing.
I
We
like
got
that.
we got
It was
slandered for
useful.
making fun of people with mental disabilities.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, for sure we did.
For which episode?
Oh, the one where I'm making fun of people who eat crayons.
Oh,
Like
Marines?
Marines.
It's
Yeah! We can't make that joke because we did not serve our country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a Marine got mad about that?
No,
No.
just
Not yet.
normies on the internet.
Oh, well, they probably eat crowns too, and they're
I
not even a
know.
Marine.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, word of the wise, trying to play mental disabilities is tough when you don't have them. Actually, it's probably tough when you do have them, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mental disabilities are just tough.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Was that
Aliens.
a backhanded compliment?
I did decide aliens. That is where
Yeah,
the
which
story
way?
went.
I remember
I
they were
don't
going to
know.
be mutated humans at first.
They were going to be mutated humans at first, and I don't remember the direction. I think I deleted most of that. Basically, Al's initial purpose was actually going to be to save the world.
Go
Wow.
on.
And then and then it was like Rupert Hayes. Hold on. Leo Cray was made Al, and then it was like gonna be a whole thing, and then you were like, oh, I'm playing a robot, and I was like, oh, that's cool. You can have this guy make you. And then you were like, yeah. And then we kept playing it. And then I'm like, ooh, Red Plains Tech Hub. And then I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I think Al's evil. Like, it just kind of like made sense. And then I was like, okay, he has to be the villain because AIs, like super AIs, are such a great villain arc. Like, it's just such a great.
Yeah.
Well, as we went on, my headcanon during the campaign was that he just basically got corrupted.
Yeah.
Like, he started out
It's kind of what I
trying
thought,
to
too.
save the world.
Yeah.
He's like, does not compute.
Well, he did the
yeah.
math.
Well, and it's just like Ultron, right? Like, that was Ultron's purpose, and Ultron's like, well, let's just start fresh.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's good.
He
It
did the
works.
math. The way to save the human race is for there to be no human race to save.
Yeah.
Classic error.
It is kind of a, like, if you think about it, like, as an alien, as an AI,
If you don't
as
set
an
the
AI,
boundary
like,
conditions.
computationally, keep it inside the paper. Why? My pen moves over here. Like, it's just, I don't understand. I don't know. So that was Al.
Computers can give you the
While we're
wrong
on the
answer
subject
because you
of
gave
that,
it the wrong
though,
problem.
was Memory a robot the whole time?
Sure, no.
Yeah.
For sure, no.
Figured.
In your mind, because retcon, she became
She was a robot the whole
a
time.
robot the whole time.
She was a
but-
robot the whole time.
But that wasn't the intent.
You'll never know now, will you?
I mean, you've already said
She-
that.
I
That's
know,
what we're
I
here
know.
for.
I'm pretty sure in one of our post-game conversations, you were like, oh, yeah, and I just needed a way to not, or I don't know, you were like, I needed a way to bring her back, and a robot was the, or, I don't, it was, we did something with her afterwards, and you needed to, gosh,
Well, she was run over by the tank, and
Yeah.
then someone grabbed her body.
yes.
I think it was... If it wasn't me, it was you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
You were
I'm
trying
like,
to
this is about
revive her. You were
Yes.
trying to revive her, and that was your, or
That
You're
was
like,
your way to do
NPCs
that.
can't be revived, so
So she's a robot.
yeah.
I think, yeah, because I
I
needed a
think
DMPC to
that
be able to give you guys some information.
Right. I think it was me because I was on top of the tank, and then the tank ran her over, and I grabbed her body. I was going to try and
yeah.
shock
It didn't seem out of place, though, because she was connected to a computer.
Oh,
she had all
yeah.
these robotic
it made
parts.
sense.
None of it was like,
She's already half robot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
was
made
not a
sense.
far
I was
stretch.
just curious. But no,
No, it
I
was
mean,
Fun twist.
that ended up serving a good purpose because both Zane and I got something out of that.
Yeah.
it's true, you got Echo. And, well, we had, in a moment of improv in the Red Plains Tech Hub, I'm like, oh, it'd be funny if he could just possess this robot. And yeah, you sure did.
Turned
Yeah.
into
And then
a
it
whole
turned
mechanic.
into like a whole mechanic with you having Echo and you being able to like summon the ship, and like that was just like a fun.
and the
And you'd be
robot
able
fight.
to be a giant robot. For
Yeah,
it.
giant robot fight.
That was fun.
Oh yeah,
Good times.
that's actually my favorite because it was like I was like, I don't know, Al's building robots to try to fight the alien threat.
I feel like that was your favorite because you like Real Steel.
Oh, I love Real Steel. Real Steel's my favorite film. It's such a bad movie, but it's amazing. Actually, it's really good.
Oh, it's a good movie.
Plot wise, it's really good. If you like
slightly made the most sense. Though.
face value, it's silly stuff.
Yeah.
It slightly made the most sense.
What did Real Steel?
No, what?
Or just
Him making giant robots.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Where it's
makes
like
sense.
he's gonna have giant robots to take over everything, but he's doing it to save everyone.
Well, yeah, and then
Supposedly.
and then
to be used in the battle.
But he's also trying to kill us. So
a little Tobin Kell was the clone for sure.
Yeah.
That's another thing I feel like ended prematurely.
yeah, I remember
Yeah.
at one point in time you were like, I guess Tobin's a robot. I'm like, he can't be a robot. We have medical records of it.
No, I didn't say he was a robot.
No.
Did
But
I?
At one point,
no,
you considered it.
I considered that he might be a robot, but I did know
briefly.
he got his stuff squashed.
Yeah.
Because
That's what I was.
That one was
I was
not.
surprised
Just
about
got
that.
jumped on.
That one was not, definitely.
what do you mean? You guys did not protect him.
No.
Well, and that's because he tried to kill us.
I
but
didn't know if
think
he was
that's-
Also
supposed
slightly
to.
because he tried to
I think
kill
that for me is when it finally clicked that, oh, anything can happen. I shouldn't like expect anything.
him. That's true.
It's very true.
Because
that was a good moment.
I didn't expect you to kill the villain of that fight to make a new villain even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the if Dungeons and Dragons is a Bethesda game, and like there's essential NPCs, mine is more Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon, where there are no permanent NPCs, and I don't care if you break the quest, you can kill him.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll just put up the big sign that said you failed the quest. I don't care. Some people like
now a new
like
quest.
like
Escape.
just can't handle that. I don't care. I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, I guess,
you'll figure out a new quest.
and it was a consequence of me trying to prematurely hack that robot, which sent it haywire.
You
And some
you
bad rolls.
you did. I really.
Some bad rolls.
If you watch that episode, you can tell I did not want you to do that, and I was like, and a third roll. I let you, and then I was like, all right, well, he kills Tobin Kell. And then what's fun is that you got to talk to him at the end, though. That is kind of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, we were gonna tease that, and maybe season 2 is what happens there.
Yeah, because we saw the medical records, and
Yeah.
there
And
was
there
multiples.
was, what, 7 or 8 clones?
Although it was
or-
beyond that, I'm pretty sure that when we talked to Al in baby robot form, he said like the last entry was from Tobin Kell.
Yeah, my headcanon of Tobin Kell is that he's like the Reed Richards of this world, and that
Oh.
he's the smartest person. So they like he tested the IQ in like the 200 like plus
Right.
range,
Yeah.
and they're like, cool, we need more of this guy.
Yeah.
I just enjoy that.
You know what I mean?
pulled-
Like that's the headcanon of
That's
my
pretty cool. I
my
like
Tobin
that.
Kell is that like he's the Kang, the conqueror. It's just like I'm too smart to be by myself, to be just one of me.
Yeah.
No, I
And
mean,
I
you've
think
got the
that's-
Council of Reeds and
Yeah.
Marvel too.
Like
So, yeah,
that to me
yeah.
is the Tobin Kell, where like
Except he's a little crazy.
but he's nuts for sure.
Yeah.
That's this whole like I like that there's like a I don't know. This is still an optimistic, fun adventure, but it's very dark. In certain like
The
it's
background, it's dark in the background
Behind the
for
scenes.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
definitely got like moments of creepiness and brutality.
I mean, it's like when we went through essentially Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was,
Well, and like
Oh,
that.
yeah, in the medical center on
Oh, in the
Mars.
basement with the Bat Doctor.
Yeah.
good time.
No,
the
no,
yeah.
on Mars,
I did like that
where...
movie.
well, no, that's what I was talking
where
about. But yeah,
prison
that
break,
too.
The prison
Which one are
break.
you
Oh, the
where-
prison break down the single tunnel.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That's not what I was talking about, but yeah,
Oh.
that was, I mean, essentially the same thing. I was talking about the Bat Doctor because, like, you described so many of the patients, and every time I could just think of the Batman villain you got that from.
That's not how it was happening, but yes.
I get
remember
that,
that.
but
Yeah,
it was
he was
too many
mentioning
to
that at
not
the time,
to,
yeah.
to not raise that.
Well, and you also
flag.
had the guy that was frozen in his own, like
Mr.
Oh,
Freeze.
Yep, his own
Yeah, I was
ball
just-
of
yeah.
Some
frozenness.
brain freeze.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack if we ever go down the route of like doing another version of this or another game or miniseries potentially. I could see a miniseries out of this would be fun.
Yeah.
Which miniseries ultimately turn to campaigns.
That's what we're seeing.
but yeah, it'd be fun. I think some of those things that could be knocked out would be very, very good.
Yeah. I tried to do like those weird inhuman movements with Scott. Like pull my eye out, try to
Yeah,
look
yes,
around,
yeah.
or walk like a creepy General Grievous spider.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about the creepy behind the scenes stuff, and I had a thought because
Oh, yeah.
but something we didn't really explore was why the Japanese had developed the Japanese on Earth had developed these like AI chips.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like why they had gone into the thing, because I had a lot of answers for those questions, and you guys were just like, well, we got them, let's move on. And I'm like, yep. Instead of being like, why do these exist, what's the purpose of that, and I'm like, I have answers, but maybe I'll just leave it there. Like, I mean, unless you care.
Yeah,
but
we were like
I mean,
super
I'm-
data chips. This makes sense.
yeah,
I mean,
Cyberpunk.
I'm curious. What was your rationale why they had those?
So if you're familiar with like cyberpunk stereotypes, is that there's always the Japanese like, what are they called, the upper society people in cyberpunk, whatever they're called. They give them a word. It's like, it's not like street, it's like corpo. Right? It's like a corpo.
Okay.
Like they were like the corpo gang. And so I was like, oh, depending on how this goes, it might be interesting to have like a corpo gang who's able to like, maybe they recruit them, or maybe they're like, the idea was maybe you guys have to go down a path of like, which gray side do we partner with to take down this person? Like, do we side with the super intelligent corpos who are able to help us combat this AI at the risk of creating another power vacuum problem where there's now these like Japanese techies involved with, so anyway.
Yeah.
But then you were like, now we fly away.
Yeah, knowing our party, that would have gone probably badly.
It would have just been murder fest.
It was-
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need a character in each campaign that has a charisma that's positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy cow! You guys are
Yeah.
just murder hobos at the end.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
that same problem on Salt Marsh. You need someone with charisma. Otherwise, no one's the captain.
We didn't have a bard.
Look
no,
at me.
you didn't have a bard.
I'm the captain now.
I mean, I don't know.
You should be. You
I don't
need
know
a higher
how that
charisma.
campaign would
He
have
didn't
been
have the
different.
piloting check though.
No.
Yeah, that's wild, actually. You guys need
I
a
mean,
bard for
memory
sure.
would have been our closest thing to a bard or
She was
charismatic character.
closer to being a wizard than a bard.
But I mean, in character.
Yes. I'm trying to
Anarchy.
think. All right, if you could do it all again, same character, same plot, what would you do differently?
Lean into the bounty hunter aspect of Ewan more than I got to or did.
Just like randomly see people and be like, "You're mine."
Yeah.
Like, oh, I saw you.
Or like, I've got another mission I want to do here. I'll get some credits for it. You know,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah. That would have been interesting for sure.
Yeah, it would have been.
Anybody else? Regrets or things you want to do different?
I probably would have tried to lean more into like finding ways to like upgrade the ship or like do more things with my specific class.
Yeah.
Like build more things and try and be a little bit more creative with stuff. Because I was able to do that a little bit, which was good for my AC. But that's about all that. Like I upgraded my armor, I upgraded my weapons a couple
Scott's
times, and
leg.
that's about all that I really did.
No, I
with
think
that.
you gave Scott the magnetic shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Well,
yeah.
Which
Which
he
was
used.
very
That was
useful.
cool.
And
Yeah.
don't forget,
A
you're
lot.
you're the one that air tagged Scott.
Yeah, we never really did a whole
Yeah.
lot with that
Yeah.
later on.
I
in the
think that was
campaign.
more of like a we didn't trust each other at the beginning.
Oh yeah, no.
Definitely didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's probably what I would have tried to do, just to test it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing else?
Well, I would have tried to explore elements of my backstory a little more concretely.
Sure. Makes sense. I think you might have been worried because we did a Duncan deep dive in the last campaign. You know what I mean? Like, it was very Duncan-centric in the last
Well,
one.
and I may have tried to, I don't know, in that vein, explore more of like the backstory for Al.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Because he did have, like, a
Like, and
backstory.
what his relationship with Leonard Cray was
Mhm.
and how that all ties. And
Yeah, because, like, initially Leo had created just the communion.
Yeah.
And then the communion had mutated to become what it became.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
that was hard to explore because he's like, I made Al, sort of, right? Like that's
Yeah.
right.
He didn't really ever take total credit for creating Al. He took credit for you and he took credit for memory, and you guys were his children. But he was never really like, I made Al.
Wait, what?
He was like Al's
Scott.
existed. What?
You said Ewan.
I said you and
That happened a lot throughout the campaign too.
yeah, you and. Sorry, I'm a country man. But yeah, I mean, I guess if I could do anything differently, I would have done the Borderlands style of introductions. I would have said, here's 5 bad guys. They do something horrible and go across the solar system. Go kill them all.
Oh.
Right? Like, to me, it's fun that Al's like the big bad, but this type of campaign, knowing how I know you guys play together, that's the campaign that I should have ran.
If you were to do a season 2, is that how you do?
Yes. I would say Tobin Kell, remnant faction of Japanese guys. Like,
forgot
I would
what the
just,
name was.
I'd be like the Sinister 5, just like go and kill them all.
Some Scott Pilgrim action.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly.
Oh, make one of them off the rails.
It's the Bat Doctor.
Yeah.
Guy with the arm. Dang it. Lost his name.
Rupert Hayes.
Rupert Hayes.
Hayes.
Yeah, Rupert Hayes is gone.
Off the rails,
just
Rupert Hayes.
ballistically crazy.
Yep. He
Anyway.
saw what happened.
I'll help you. I'll have you guys help me.
He said not again.
But to me, I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be. I mean, you could do 5 one-shots if you really want to go crazy.
True.
Right. I would have to make a new character.
Oh, you sure would.
You can.
You kind of want to do that.
I mean,
No, yeah, no, I wanted to. I
Technically,
love
you-
Joe Thor.
technically, you don't have to. Just change the name.
Yeah.
No, I want to play a different character. As a D&D player, I want to grow and try different classes.
Yeah,
his
and-
twin
that's
brother.
Well,
Of the same name.
he's gone from Sarge to Joe Thor. So that's quite a jump.
He was also
So you want to
Harry
do another
Henderson.
one.
Yeah.
And
He was also Harry Henderson, which is a great character.
Skids.
He wasn't.
You were
Skids.
Skids.
Yeah,
Skids. He
Skids.
was
Jacob
Skids.
was Sarge.
That's right.
Which
Yeah.
all of them died, right?
Sarge did
Nope,
not.
Sarge did not
Sarge
die.
did not
Yeah,
die.
Sarge.
Ooh. Maybe Sarge's villain.
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
that's better.
Yeah, he wants to get revenge.
That's better.
Yeah.
We could bring Jacob back for that
It's
one.
like, I'm done with this.
It's a
Ooh, yeah.
one shot.
It's true. That'd be
we-
fun. And then, okay, what was the moral of the story? What do you hope that people walked away taking away from it?
It's definitely a conspiracy mystery story.
Yeah, I agree.
Thriller.
Kind of want to be tongue in cheek and say don't trust AI, but that I don't think that's the point of the story.
Nah.
I would say I like that idea. I think the better way to put it is do your own research. Because think about it, that's what this came down to.
That's not bad.
That's what it came down to.
Pretty good. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if
not
this sounds like I'm ripping off Jackson now, but I was gonna say, don't be so sure. It's like don't leave it to someone else to fix every problem, and don't be so sure the person doing the most to fix it knows what they're doing. Is at least the story, the lesson, because it's like we were trusting Al to fix it, and then we didn't know if Al was trying to kill everyone. We didn't know if the aliens were trying to kill everyone. We didn't know if, Kane was going to be able to fix it. We didn't know if, I don't know. And in the end, it took us. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you remember the beginning of the whole story, you guys were all the chosen ones,
Yeah.
except for Ewan.
Yeah.
I
Ewan
thought it was
was not-
except for me.
Oh, was it except for you? No, it was except for you. I think you're right.
Originally, I was not, and then I think the list ended up changing to
It
where
flipped.
you weren't.
Yeah.
Or something like
Al recalculated, and you were like no longer involved because he was going to take your body.
Okay.
Long story short, I think it's like about what it means to be chosen, like versus like what does it mean when someone smarter than you says that you're good, you're smart. You still have to back it up. Like you can't, like you're not done when someone says you're awesome. Like you have to continue to be awesome, which is kind of an interesting thought as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting moral, like that.
Yeah, sure. Good.
Cool. What if we did not continue? What would your character get up to?
Mine's pretty easy.
What does your family do?
I don't know.
Do they find out? What happens if they find out?
I don't know. It's all going to be depending on if you guys tell my family.
I don't know if they pick up the story right there. That seems silly.
I was gonna say I'm very
like fast forward a couple years.
I was gonna say
yeah.
I'm very curious if simians have like in this galaxy have a custom for when one of their kin die.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure it's.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
like
they eat the fleas off of the body and then they.
Well, I'd kind of see it as they go down into the forest and they bury the body and then put a sapling on top of it so that the nutrients from
a tree.
the deceased could
Life breathes life.
Yeah, something
Kinda,
like that.
yeah.
I feel like that would
It's
be
a specific
very.
kind of sapling that
fair.
the dinosaurs don't eat it.
I think Cain is now like a minor deity. I think
Yeah.
he went to like the place beyond and is now has some like weird philosophical.
Kane's in
control.
like an entirely different story now.
Oh, are you just like on like?
Is he world hopping?
No, I think he's actually just in Horton Hears a Who. Like he's just like he's on a little tiny place with all these Whovians.
You're like, you go somewhere that's entirely outside of the system, and I'm like, sure.
I like the idea that he shows up in ragtag, but that's just like a personal.
It's pretty funny.
We were
Or
already
he
in a
shows
galaxy
up
far
in-
away.
Or he shows up in like Whisked Away, or
Yeah, just like a weird, like you get to play in like some fantasy game, just like randomly. It's like, why is Kane here? We've allowed for that.
It's funny.
You come across this traveler. He has blue skin and a haunted look in his eyes.
How long have you been here? I don't know. That's fun.
I mean-
Actually, let's put a pin in that.
That's what we did for the Crow's crew. They ended up in LaRousse.
Yep.
They did, yeah. Because why not?
Once again, that made sense, though.
That is kind of fun.
The way that you crazily ended that.
Yeah, I definitely Sanderlanched that. You should go back and watch that ending because I'm like,
Like the last, like, 3
and
episodes?
they open a portal to hell. Like,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely watch those last few
Well,
episodes.
I teased the hell stuff because that was an add-on that I threw in, but this is not that retrospective.
Yeah.
What is in the next like 4 to 5 years? What is Scott get up to?
Well, he's definitely gonna get involved in that Tobin Kell storyline. He would probably be the one who sends him. I would imagine him or Ewan would send the response to or the information to Jovthor's family.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
sad letter.
I imagine Ewan's probably tagging along just so he has something to do and he's not left alone.
Oh, so it's the adventures of that duo.
Yeah, I think Scott
I
would
think
go
so.
on a murder hobo spree
Yeah.
with bad guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You guys go to Earth and resolve the internet problem.
Well, I like the idea you had of like, and life continues. Now there's all these bad guys you have to deal with. You now know about
Yeah.
that. The giant problem that you had before is resolved. Therefore, now you can pay attention to all the other problems that were already there in the
Or
universe
that you caused.
that were just completely overshadowed by this
Mega
world-ending threat.
It's a good idea. So then it's like the next two characters to join that series. Any ideas?
Leonard for sure.
Well, and I think
Well, Leonard's NPC, or is somebody gonna play him?
I feel like he would be either like a very essential DMPC or a player.
and
Like he would be like the Alfred in the Batcave, you know?
Well,
That's
so,
fun.
something I've thought about too since we ended Orbit was just like, obviously, we go back, we get memory when we go back just to do that. Do we try to implement memory back into Echo?
Maybe. I think that's because we still have Echo.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
I feel like
Yeah, he wouldn't.
I mean, you're right.
a good character for that story would be someone who is getting those superpowers. Maybe
Oh.
someone that was in the basement of the medical
That kid.
center.
Oh, one
Yeah.
of the,
Like a new superpowered character.
no, the kid who almost killed what's her face. That's a playable character because he
the
just
teleport,
left.
the teleporting
I don't
kid?
think
No, he had like.
the one that had your
Was it
powers?
just teleporting?
Yeah, I don't think
Like
he-
the
No,
super young
he
kid?
was healing. He
I
had
think
healing,
he was doing.
right?
He was doing like multiple.
I don't think a couple of
I don't
powers.
think
we
he
can go back and watch.
He
I
just
think
kept
he was-
trying to punch and his
He
skin
was
kept
patient.
melting.
Well, that's because he was punching Kane, but he was patient 1, I believe.
yeah, because you were patient 0. The
yeah,
kid.
patient 1 would be a great character for the
Right.
next campaign.
Because I'm pretty
Right.
sure the lightning guy was not patient 1. That was a
no,
different
he
guy.
was like
No.
patient 4.
Right.
Yeah.
We killed him, right?
No,
Yeah.
we killed the. We didn't kill. Well, we did kill.
Killed Mr.
but
Lightning.
We killed Mr. Lightning. We killed the disintegrator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sniped her.
The
Yeah.
straight
Yeah.
portal guy is still out there,
Oh yeah,
but patient 1 would be an interesting player character.
patient
to
1 would be
bring
a
in.
great character because then you could explore what it means to start getting these powers.
We just call
Right.
it. We just call him replacement
Rupert
Kane.
Hayes.
What? Somebody's playing Rupert Hayes.
play-
Rupert Hayes is
Well,
good.
I thought he
That's
was the bad
definitely
guy.
somebody's D&D character.
If he is.
Where he's just like, I quit.
Yeah.
This song is not it.
This song was played during Whispers.
You'd have to contrive some
Rupert
sort
Hayes?
of plot device as to why he's hanging out with that crew, but like that's definitely a character that someone would make up for
I
a
still
D&D
think
campaign.
I still think
There's
Rupert Hayes is a
also-
better villain.
There's also one of Memory's friends.
Oh,
Yeah,
'cause
she did have some
She did
friends.
have
I
some.
said
Yeah.
one of them survived, and who is it?
That could be your intelligence-based
Yeah.
character, and then
That's
the
fair.
superhero could be
And
your
or
charisma. Your charisma-based
Well,
Yeah.
and or
character.
charisma.
So
Right.
if we ever decide to continue, we have Scott. You're gonna play Scott again,
I'd play Scott again.
and then
Yeah.
you
I'd probably.
play Ewan
I'd probably
still?
keep up with you, and yeah.
And then who would you play?
I don't know.
And then you
Some charisma superhero.
patient
Yeah, you
1.
need to be
patient 1,
charismatic
somebody
this
like that.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, cool. Then I guess we just might see you for the next episode of Orbit 21. Seems kind of crazy, but maybe.
We did last time.
I mean,
We thought that was gonna be one shot.
yeah, we're kind of crazy. We like this stuff, and if you like it too, please leave a comment. And let us know what you loved. Let us know how we mistreated an entire race of monkey people. And I don't know. Live long and prosper. Nah, that's not right. Hold on.
No,
Let's say something else.
May the force be with
When in doubt, blow up a planet.
That works.